So I'm out with it. I'm out with the new DFA, new to me. Well, it is a brand new lens, and it is certainly new to me. The new DFA 70-210 lens from Pentax. And of course, I've got it hooked up to the Pentax K3 Mark III. Now, I wasn't meant to be coming out today. I just received the lens yesterday. At the time of this video going out, I'm not quite sure how the scheduling is going to work, but at the time of making this video, it was yesterday that I received the lens, and I had planned on going out later this week with it. But as you can see, we've got some sunshine, which doesn't often happen in the UK. We're nearing the end of summer, and we pretty much are at the end of summer. And I just thought we'll get down to the river while the sun's out and see if I can get something with this setup. And it's basically, this is going to be my initial first impressions of the lens. Now, you know, from what I've seen online, on other videos and like forums and just the general consensus and reviews on this lens, there's mixed reviews and mixed opinions. Some bad, some good. You know, I don't know how in this day and age there can be still bad copies and good copies of lenses, but I suppose there are. Not all lenses are going to be, even though they're the same lens, they're not all going to be exactly the same coming out of the factory. That's why you often hear people saying that they've got a good version of the lens or a bad version of the lens. And I have had a few of each in the past. Hopefully, this is a good version. I fired a couple of test shots off at home just to check everything was working before I came out, and I'm glad to say it did. And I'm not looking for anything special today. I just want to have a little walk out with the lens and see if, just see how it feels. Get the general feel for it, and we'll get home and have a look at any of the images. Hopefully I get some. And have a look at the IQ, the rendering of the lens, and I'll just give my initial first impressions on it. So, as usual, I'm waffling a little bit too much. That's the intro over with. Let's get to the video. So I couldn't leave it as just the first time I went out the other day with the DFA 70-210. I needed to come out to the motocross track just to check on those little mishaps, I should say, I suppose, that I felt like I was having. And what it felt like is that the camera or the lens was hunting all the time. It was like micro jitters when I was auto-focusing. And I didn't know whether it was down to the autofocus setup that I have on the K3 Mark III for sport. I did try changing a few variables around on the trackability and all that type of stuff, because I've got it set to like be hyperactive for the motocross photography, and I just thought if I was photographing still life, it didn't really need that, and it seemed to obviously it worked better when I was putting it into single autofocus instead of continuous. But the other thing that I picked up on was that I have not obviously calibrated the lens, so I was like, on the day I was messing around with that, going up and down, near and far, but I couldn't really get a good gauge on it, and it's not ideal to do it like that way. You need to do a proper test, and I'll have to do that with this in order to go forward and make sure that it's working correctly. But today I thought that with them being moving subjects, it'd just be a better run out with the camera and the lens obviously to see if I'm still experiencing the same sort of micro jitters with the autofocus, and whether it's front or back focusing. Now, another variable in this is that it could be user error, because I'm quite used now to my Canon 7D Mark II and the EF 70-210 lens. And the reason why I say that, you'd think, oh well, that's nothing. But the reason why is because of muscle memory, and because the focus ring and the zoom ring are the opposite way around on Pentax and Canon, at least on these two lenses they are. So it's taken me a little bit of time to get back in the sort of swing with this lens, as I've got so much muscle memory with the EF 70-200 lens. But we will get there. I'll just need a good day like today, using this camera all day, and it should come. But those are the three variables that I need to get sorted before I can really give this a fair go round. So that's an update on that. I'll be including some of the GoPro. I've got the GoPro here, what I'm filming with, but I've hooked it up to the top of the K3 Mark III just to give you sort of like a photographer's eye view of what I do on a weekend, basically. So yeah, that's that, and we're going to head round the track now and get some shots. So something I'm just picking up on now, here in this jump, and maybe something I should have picked up on earlier, is that I've been running image stabilization. I've had the image stabilization on, the normal one, not the panning one, but when I'm shooting at like 1/1250th of a second or 1/1600th of a second, there's two variations of that for you. I don't think it's needed, and I think it might be actually hindering the image. That guy's fat. And also what I've done is I've stopped the lens down to f5.6. So between those two alterations, I seem to have got some sharp images here. They look sharp on the back of the camera anyway, but it's just playing around, isn't it? It's a new lens, new setup, and it's finding that sweet spot. And I've got the fine-tuned adjustment on the lens set to +3 now to the near side. That seems to be working okay today throughout the focal range. But yeah, it's just like I say, it's just playing around. It's all new. This is first impressions, obviously, and I'm glad I've done this today, because initially I did want the first test between this and the Canon lens, or the Canon camera, this and the 7D Mark II, to be at the track. But I'm glad I've come out here today and done some fine-tuned adjustments before we actually do the comparison, because it wouldn't be fair otherwise, would it really? Does this look a bit dangerous to you? Sit on the backside of a jump. This is what it's been like every weekend throughout the summer. So yeah, good fun, get some more shots. We're putting a lot of trust in these rides here. So after a little bit of faffing around, I think what I found is the problem was the image stabilisation that I had on, because I've just been using the lens at f4 there, wide open, without the image stabilisation, and although it is a little bit softer on the edges, you can tell, even reviewing it on the back of the camera, than 5.6, it's still better than what it was with the image stabilisation on. So, you know, it's learning process. We're going through the changes here of a new lens. I'm yet to try out the autofocus limit meter, where it's on full. I've just left it on full, I haven't limited it, but I'll probably try that in a bit. And yeah, I think I'm at the track tomorrow, but I'm not going to do the test yet tomorrow because I don't feel comfortable enough yet using the lens, the setup, where I can just, you know, get it out the bag and I know exactly what it's doing. It's taken me a little bit by surprise, like. The image quality is good, but there's just a bit of faffing around. Being a DSLR, you know, you do have to do all this type of stuff with the lenses, calibration, and make sure they are focusing properly. As I've said before, there's the members that I'm now doing, the membership to the YouTube channel, which is $2.99, and you get early access to all of the videos, plus other little perks that I'll be doing along the way. And I'll be putting all of that money back into the channel to hopefully do more gear reviews, and maybe even use some of it to get out to different places, I think. Do a bit of travelling with the photography. So that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.